Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia, and I have an awesome show planned for tonight. But before we get started, and wow, I did not think you'd see that much of my room. Let's not forget the Whimsical Whiz, the complete 2023 collection. The second year of 2024 is currently in the works. The book moving a little slow on it, but I'm gonna have that done. You can get this off Amazon. Um, let's not forget about Zorro Swordplay and Romance. Oh wait, nope, this one's Zorro's Exploits. I illustrated two stories in here and one in Swordplay and Romance. You can get these off boldventurepress.com. And last but not least, also off Bold Venture Press, is a book I had fun working on one of the stories in here. Pulp Adventures. These come out, I believe, 4 times a year. This is from 2023. This is number 42. I have illustrations I did to an American Crusader story. So if you guys know the public domain character, the American Crusader, please check it out. And if you don't, you should check it out so you can learn about him. Also, I got some announcements to make, but I'll do that on the show. I got a convention coming up I'm going to talk about. A lot of great stuff. But before we make those announcements, or I make those announcements, I'm going to bring my guests. We're going to make them together because we are doing a con together. I want to talk about my guest. He is a very talented comic creator. He has done a lot, worked on a lot of licensed characters. Most of you might know him from his convention appearances, where he shows off the stuff he did. Animaniacs. He worked on what was it, Space Jam. He's gonna correct me because I don't have his list in front of me here. But he worked on the Tom and Jerry comic strip. He has done tons and tons of things. Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol comic book. Let's bring on Rich Maurizio. And I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. And there he is.
There I am.
How you doing, Rich?
All right, doing well.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
And I want to say hi to Dylan in the audience. Thank you for watching, Dylan, tuning in. I'm sorry, just very thirsty tonight. So, Rick, before we get into some of the announcements that we're going to make later on today, for those who aren't familiar with you or your work, can you give us a little bit of your background in comics?
Well, comics-wise, I've worked on the Animaniacs. I did Looney Tunes. Also was involved in producing a Mighty Mouse comic, Underdog. I did a Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol and another book called Jetta Ray Adventures, which was based on a character that Dan DeCarlo did in the 50s, sort of like Archie in Outer Space.
Yeah.
And trying to think more. Just recently, I've done a few covers for MadCave with Flash Gordon, Phantom, and Dick Tracy.
Wow. Those are all, like, every character you just named. Someone I love.
Yeah.
And, a huge, like, Phantom fan, and love all the Flash Gordon, love all those. I have a bunch of the collections, not on this shelf, other shelf. But yeah, great stuff, great career. It sounds like. I always ask my guests as we try to get to know them, like who were your influences? Like, what were some of your cartooning, like whether the shows, the comics, or the actual artists or writers?
Well, I've always loved the Jay Ward characters. The design, I'm from the 60s, so like an Underdog, Mighty Heroes. I always loved that style.
Yeah.
What got me I asked him, like, what got me interested, or...
Well, I mean, yeah, if you want to answer that, it's also, just
okay.
like...
Chuck Jones, naturally, Bob Clampett, all the classic, Looney Tune artists and directors. Trying to think what else. Yeah. I also love the old Dick Tracy comic strip,
Oh,
but what I love about the comic strip is the one that everyone hates. I love the '60s version where
that's
they're
the
into flying garbage cans. So,
flying. That's the one with the when they went into outer space, right? They had the moon guy, or
Moonmaid, yeah,
yeah, moon.
yeah,
I don't know all those strips off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm
yeah,
familiar with that
hmm
storyline. I think I have
yeah.
a collection of that somewhere in here.
Really, I may
I
grab that off you.
I do
I've
have
been trying to find it. So,
a Dick Tracy. I don't. Again, I think it's on the other side of the room. A lot of my collection. This is more my humor collection up here.
yeah.
Um, but I remember who was the character? The parody of Dick Tracy.
Oh, Fearless Fosdick.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
collection of
Cat.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, of that.
yeah.
That's cool. I like that one a lot too. Um,
hmm
but yeah, no,
And,
no, all great
and
stuff.
I,
Go
oh
ahead.
yeah, and I love the artwork in Little Abner, but not the storylines as much, but the artwork.
Yeah,
See, my so I sort of got influenced by those artists.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. No, I'm primary. I mean, just like you, the only thing I think I would add in there for me is Hanna Barbera. You know,
oh yeah,
my
definitely Hanna-Barbera. I wasn't
that's
thinking.
yeah, no, that's like I
So
think my biggest influence. Whether I'm
yeah.
doing like the Alex Toth superhero stuff
hmm
or just the cartoon, cartoony bears or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. But yeah, Looney Tunes, all those things, and even though I love comic books, it was the strips that
Yeah.
I first
Yeah, I
loved.
started out with the strips and then went to the comic books and then cartoons. So that's how I went. Um, Secret Squirrel, Hanna-Barbera, that's always been my favorite. So,
Yeah, I'm of the animal characters. It's Ricochet Rabbit for me. I'm
okay.
McGill Gorilla, but I was always big. I was a big fan of westerns, and
hmm
so like Ricochet Rabbit was always
Yeah.
fun for me. But yeah, like the whole McGill
Not
Gorilla,
El Kabong?
I did enjoy him too. But I mean,
Being the Zorro person.
very true, very true. But actually, I loved Quick Draw. I think Quick Draw had some of the best writing of the
Yes.
entire Hanna
hmm
Barbera cartoons. There's one that I wish I remember exactly how the dialogue went, but it was one of the funniest pieces. It was a marriage joke. It was I don't know if it was the first episode or if it was later on, but there was a scene where he had to rescue
Had to take my
rescue
drink.
a girl who was like kidnapped to marry somebody, and like there was just I'm destroying it now, and it's really going to be bad. But if you look at it, it's somewhere on YouTube. It has to be.
Yeah, it
Uh,
has to be.
that little clip was one of the funniest lines I've ever
hmm
heard, and I'm like right there, and that's when I started like going back and trying to find old stuff because to me that was the best. Like I said, the
Yeah.
best was that. Um, just to go to the comments. Dylan's asking. Yes, you're definitely a cartoonist, but you've never animated, right? You're not an animator,
No, I
or
never animated. No.
okay, all right. So just a cartoonist then,
Just
Dylan.
cartoons, yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah. No. So when did you start like in the industry?
Uh 82,
Wow.
1982. Started off doing a magazine called actually, do you remember Comics Values Monthly?
Yes.
Okay, I started on a couple issues with that with Alex Malloy, who was the person who came up with it. He came from coin collecting, and then he sort of took that and started adding on the price, sort of a price guide, a monthly price guide.
Yeah.
And then what happened was we went and we did created a comics collector for Krause Publications, and it was me and a couple other people, and we did the first issue, and they decided to bring it in house. From there, I worked on the Thunder Agents, and then from there I started, going more into cartooning.
Okay.
So,
Excuse me. And I know you mentioned Mighty Mouse. Um,
oh yeah.
I just want to say, when you mentioned it, I looked down. I just saw it the other day in one of my piles of comics under my drawing table. I was like, oh, if it was on the top, I would have pulled uh,
Uh-huh.
one of the issues out. I actually have a copy. I'll have to bring it to one of the shows that we're doing together. And
Okay, no problem.
I need an autograph.
All
Uh,
right.
but yeah. So you've also done a few other things I mentioned, and this one we've never talked about. So I'm very curious about. You know, in your bio, and I mentioned it on the air, you worked on the Tom and Jerry comic strip. Can you talk a little bit
Yes.
about that?
Yeah, it was a group of us that actually worked on it. It was done for Editors Press Service. So it was
Mhm.
done for the international market, and I believe it was in 200 papers
Okay.
worldwide.
Yeah.
And there was one, Kelly Jarvis, she was like the main penciler on it. I did some work on it. Jeff Schultz did some work on it, and we had basically a whole group of people were working on the strip, and we did 5 years of it.
Wow, that's a nice
Yeah,
run.
yeah, it was.
And and you know, I got to be honest. I don't know if I've ever. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it, looking at it online. I don't remember a
Hmm.
Tom and Jerry strip in the comics when I was a kid growing up. But what were they like? Based on the classic cartoon? Were they like
They
how?
were based on the classic cartoon. Yeah.
Now,
Um,
oh, go
and
ahead before.
actually, another thing, Paul Kupperberg actually wrote a year's worth,
Oh, really?
and he added Screwy Squirrel and Droopy into it.
Nice.
So we did it based on the classic cartoons. The only thing was that Tom and Jerry talked, and then
Okay.
we had Tuffy, and they talked like they do in the comic books. It
Okay.
wouldn't have worked pantomime,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. I
that was
understand.
their decision. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I was going. That was going to be my next question. Was since they were
Oh,
based,
okay.
you know, what was it like? You know, transferring that. But obviously, since they talk, it was a lot easier.
I
To,
think the biggest problem with that strip was the size of Tom compared to Jerry.
mhm.
And I think that's always been a big problem in a lot of the comic books too. So,
Yeah,
so how we had to get around is we had to do like half figures of Tom and close-ups of Tom, and bringing Jerry, make Jerry larger, and sometimes Tom's face.
yeah,
Because if you pull back and it reduces, you won't see anything. So
yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense.
yeah,
Makes a lot
I
of
have
sense.
some copies. I'll bring them this weekend to show you. So
Well, I can't wait to see those.
yeah.
And then before we get into talking about a few other things, I have to ask you about Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Uh,
Okay.
you mentioned that also in your bio, and
Hmm.
I've always been a big Magoo fan. You know, like you,
Okay.
all old cartoons, and I was actually just was it I don't remember if I was watching it on the internet or if it was on like the Me TV Tunes channel, but I was
Uh-huh.
watching some old Magoo cartoons recently, and
Yeah.
then you know I remember you worked on. Then I reread it in your bio. So can you talk a little bit about that that comic?
Um, yeah, what we did is the adaptation of Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. That was the first animated Christmas special. It was
Mhm.
before Rudolph. And what we did was it was done through Airwave Comics, and it was myself and Robert Conti. I know Robert's listening, and
Hello, Robert.
and and we basically adapted the show, and we also added some behind the scenes scenes. Those were done by Chris Yambar and George Broderick, and it was like they were backstage, usually what actors do when they're backstage.
Yeah.
And we still have copies of it, but the one thing is, it was the 60th anniversary, and nothing was really done for it at all by,
Oh,
the owners.
mhm.
And I would have loved to have that. It would have been great if that was reprinted for that year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow.
And we also had probably a month to put that book together.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, since it was well, just you're converting basically the cartoon, the animated
Uh-huh.
cartoon to the comic, were you like just pulling scenes from it? Did you get to be a little creative with design in the sense of camera angles, or were you kind of like, no, it was
We
this
sort
type
of stayed by the film. I forget Adele Baron.
of
Yeah,
yeah.
Dell did layouts originally on it, and then we had to make some changes due to the
Mm,
licensor. But some of his layouts are actually in the book,
cool.
and but we stayed mostly to the way the film was.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, I gotta rewatch that one. I think it's on a streaming service right now. I don't remember
Yeah,
which one I think it is, but
yeah.
I'll
I
save
think they
that
still
for
have
the
DVDs of them. I don't know. So
really.
I think there are still DVDs available.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to look.
Um,
I actually was telling my wife recently, like, I don't, there's not many DVDs I ever want to buy anymore. Everything's streaming, but I really want to get all the old Christmas holiday specials
yeah.
that I loved, because they, I don't want to see them go away. Or if I don't have the streaming service, I want to be able to watch them.
Hmm.
Those are
Yeah.
always my favorite childhood.
I always wanted to do an adaptation of Rudolph.
That'd be cool.
Always wanted to do one, but that never came to. So,
Yeah, no, I don't know if I ever would want to do those. One of my dream projects though has always been the Smurfs. I've always wanted to draw a Smurf story. Uh,
okay.
and no, but it's but that Christmas special sticks in my head. I just did I was at Yonkers Comic Con a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
because I spoke on a panel, they gave me this lovely water bottle, which I haven't used yet. But I uh, I have a couple of pieces of art that are really influenced by my love of Peo, and
Hmm.
I sold a few prints that people like. They came up and they're like, "Are you a Smurfs fan?" I was like, "Wow!" They actually saw it in my artwork, and we talked, and I was like,
Oh
"Yeah,
yeah,
that."
that print you gave me, that's definitely very much
Oh
influenced.
yeah, yeah, that's one of them, and there was
Yeah.
another one, and yeah, I'll for those who don't know, if you haven't seen my print, you can see it on my social media. It's of a goblin and a gnome
Hmm.
fighting. Hold on, what do we got here? I had the sitcom. Let's see. David from Sillyville says I had the sitcom Sledgehammer on DVD, loaned it out, and never saw it again. Interesting. Was Sledgehammer a sitcom?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember. I don't remember it as a sitcom, but
Yeah.
no. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to go relook at that.
I
But
barely
yeah,
remember. I don't remember the show. I know there was a comic book of it. They did a
well,
one shot.
I,
Marvel
I
did, so.
I had a student who was like really into watching retro. So when I was teaching college, and we're going back maybe
Hmm.
2013, 2014, he would
Yeah.
watch all old shows. He would be like, I was watching an episode of Hunter today, or a couple of weeks ago, I sat down and binged Miami Vice the first, and I'd be like, okay. And he's like, do you remember this? I'm like, dude, it's 2013. I watched that when they originally aired in the 80s. I don't remember much of those things. So, but yeah, I don't. But he did talk a lot about Sledgehammer, and I don't remember it being a sitcom.
Oh.
But yeah,
Tubi's great for all those shows. Tubi is great for all those shows.
yeah,
So,
that's one of my go-to apps. I pay for so many things, but I spend most of it on a free app. Yeah.
yep. And then there's Filmrise, I think it is. Yeah, Filmrise is another
Right.
one.
I haven't been on that
So,
app, but I know of it. Yeah, I'll have to check
yeah.
that out.
So,
Wow. But yeah, that's cool. Um, so yeah, let's move on to well, first of all, we'll talk about the convention that we're doing, and then some of the things that we're doing at. So, would you like to talk about the convention?
okay. What can we talk? What we?
I'll give you.
Why don't you start? Why don't you
Okay,
start?
I'll start. I'll start. So we are this weekend. So as everyone knows, tomorrow starts New York Comic Con. Not everyone can make it to New York Comic Con. So there are other conventions happening in other areas within driving distance, and about 2.5 to 3 hours away from New York City in Oaks, PA, which is a suburb of Philly in Pennsylvania, obviously, um, is going to be GameCon Live. It is a family show for all ages, but targeted towards families with kids between 5 and 15. We're going to be part of one of their kids sections, and we're going to be doing workshops all weekend for the kids. We'll also be exhibiting our art, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a. Hold on. Sorry, I thought I had a sneeze. There was, we got a lot. There's just a lot planned. It's a big show. If you've never been to the, what is it called, the Greater Philadelphia Convention Center, that's where it's being held. If you've never been to that convention, they've held many conventions. I believe RetroCon has been in there.
Yes.
I believe what is it? The Great Philadelphia Comic Con was there. I've done that show a few times. I've done RetroCon a couple of times. I've been there for about 4 or 5 shows of my con career in the last maybe 10 years.
Okay.
And now GameCon Live is going to be, and if you go to GameConLive.com, you can check out, all the guests, what's happening. We're going to be there with our friends Ray Felix, Tom Siaka, Andrew Frank Rodriguez, and Allison Keller, and that's our section. We got some really fun workshops planned. I'm going to be teaching kids how to draw video game characters starting the day. And we're going to have things on animation and drawing fantasy characters and how to draw dynamic superheroes. But towards the end of the day, Rich and I have our own fun I don't know if you want to call it, I wouldn't even call it like a workshop. It's a trivia contest.
More like a trivia, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to have a trivia, which I still have to finish making my questions up for.
I'm working on them.
But yeah, I think that one's going to be really fun. And Rich and I together did a print for it. And let's see, can I share it real quick? I don't have access to it on this screen. Do you mind if I share it? Or
yeah, go ahead.
All right. Hold on, I got to open up a program real quick because file open. Just give me 1 second here. And I can't wait for this thing to. All right, I'm going to open up both files so we can see it. Open. And, okay, I know it's open now. Now I can share the screen. And I got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Rich penciled, and I inked and colored and added the background. So this right here, and I'm just going to step away from the computer so I can access it better over on the other computer. I mean, Richard, do you want to talk a little bit about it, or like why you chose some of these characters specifically? Or
well, I wanted to do the basic, the more popular characters. Naturally, Mario. I did work on Mario. I did a couple things.
I didn't know.
I inked a game page, and then I inked I inked a couple of game pages for Valiant when they first came out. And then I figured I had Donkey Kong because I love gorillas. And I figured I'd add Pac-Man and Sonic naturally. And I'm very naive. I wasn't even aware that Pikachu was a video game character. So, but when I saw that, I figured, yeah, add him too. So.
I got to be honest. I don't know how he started, but I know there's been a Pokemon video game. There's the trading card game. So he's been in games for such a long time. Now, when I first colored it, this was my coloring on
Uh-huh.
here.
Yeah.
The reason I went with the red and the red overalls as opposed to the blue is because Mario's, I don't know if it was in the first game box cover, but on Super Mario Brothers 2, that game box, he had red overalls. He also, when if you guys, and this is how I first met Mario, was the Saturday Supercade cartoon in the 80s, and it was a Donkey Kong cartoon, and he was chasing, and he had red overalls in that.
Oh, not the one with Captain Lou?
Oh no, he did have red overalls in that one as well, but the
Oh,
first one
okay.
was the Donkey Kong cartoon from Saturday Supercade.
Uh-huh.
But he also, and that's when I think they gave him the name Mario then, but his original character name was Jumpman, and
Huh.
red overalls for that as well. So, like when I saw the style you drew him in, I was like, oh, that's very classic. That is, So I went with that, and then we did the other one to kind of keep it modern as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we got. I'm just coming back here. Sillyville says pretty good. Thank you, guys. And then we got Chad Luigi asking about animation now. I don't know, Chad, if you missed it, if you came in a little late, but Rich doesn't animate. He's just he's a cartoon illustrator. I have animated professionally, and I will tell you. You ask what is the hardest thing to do in animation. I think it depends on what part of animation you're working in. I did character animation, and I love the human body, but making sure, for me, it was always spinning a character, like rotating them to make sure they stayed balanced, and the size correction correctly was always some of the hardest parts for me. And then you ask, is making a cartoon taken for days or weeks, or how long? I guess you're asking how long. It could take months. Real, it depends what you're doing. A
Yeah.
short can literally take. I mean, with the computer software these days, if you have everything, once you have all your elements, your background, your voices, you can really put it together in a couple of weeks. But it takes a long, long time to get to that. It literally months, almost, and depending on the length, maybe a year plus.
And the original animators, they used to take years to do one.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. Dylan says Mario, Sonic Pack. Yep, Donkey Kong and Pikachu. Absolutely. So yeah, this was a really fun piece to do. I really had a
mm-hmm.
lot of fun with it, and I want to thank you for asking me to be part of that. I really enjoyed it. I will say the hardest thing for me on here was coming up with a background idea. And it hit me last night. I'm like, let's do an arcade, and I spent like a half hour more building that just to get that accurate.
Yeah, that added a lot more to it. So that was great.
Thank you. Yeah, but no, I had a lot of fun on this one. There's other things I would have loved to have added electricity come out of Pikachu, and I don't know, like a barrel or something behind. Like those are things I was all thinking. I'm like, no, it has to be related to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. It was a fun piece, man.
Yeah,
And
originally I was gonna draw Pac-Man like the cartoon Pac-Man from the TV series, the
yeah,
TV show. But then I decided to just go with the original version.
yeah. I got to show you. It's just speaking of Pac-Man. Let me pull it out over here. This goes all the way back to the 80s, and where is it here? And I'm going to stop sharing the screen so I could make this larger here. Stop screen share.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to collect a lot of like old children's books and stuff, and I found this as a set on eBay. And I don't know how long ago I got this,
Yeah.
and I go through this because like I love these are the type of children's books I want to make. You know,
Oh yeah.
where just they're just so much fun right here. You know, and I got a bunch.
Those children's books were always great. We did a couple of them with the Animaniacs that way.
Yeah,
So
I don't have any of those. I remember seeing them, but I do just from my 80s. I have a GoBots and I have a map
GoBots.
and a Masters of the Universe. So like I
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm sorry, no, I was just gonna say how off model all these things are in here. But go ahead.
yeah, the bad 70s and early 80s stuff was really off model.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some
But
of
I
the
love
60s, the Flintstones were different colors.
yeah.
So,
But that was because if I remember correctly, that's because everything was black and white, so no one actually
hmm.
knew what color
Yeah,
characters were. So
yeah.
you'd get like like Fred in a blue uh tunic or whatever you would call that he wore, and it was yeah, it was strange. It wasn't until I think was it Pebbles being born that they like specifically added color, like
I think so,
designated
yeah.
to
Or it
that.
was the year before, I
Maybe.
think. But was it like the original Knickerbocker toys? The colors are way off on
Yeah.
those things. So,
But those things are so cool.
yeah.
Like I know I have a it's not Hanna Barbera, but I have the European Dennis the Menace like shampoo
Hmm.
bottles that they made for all those types of characters,
Yep.
and
So,
oh, I would love to get a good Hanna Barbera one of those. Just
and even Underdog. Underdog was all the licensed stuff and everything. The toys, he was yellow. He Underdog was never yellow. He was more of a pinkish color.
oh,
So,
I always thought he was brown. So
yeah, it was a brownish pinkish. But so we managed to get the color changed. That was one thing I wanted to have done because
yeah, because you did work on Under, and I forgot to bring that up because I am
yeah.
a very big Underdog fan.
Hmm.
One of my past guests, Matt Hansel, who he has worked on Underdog,
Uh-huh.
and does an amazing job. But
Yeah, he does. He is really good.
yeah, his
So,
stuff is unbelievable. But you were, if I remember some of the work I've seen of your Underdog,
hmm.
that was you guys were. I mean, you were on model, but it wasn't. But you weren't like taking like shots from the show.
No, it was on model, but it wasn't shots from the show.
Yeah,
It's totally different style. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because when Matt was doing his, he was trying to replicate what was on screen, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly.
Yeah. So I sort of passed the baton on to him. I've been talking to him online.
Oh,
So
cool, cool. Oh,
and I sent him some model sheets some of the original model sheets. And then also I wasn't aware that they were doing a new Underdog.
mhm.
And it was apparently it's in France or it's overseas, and he sent me some pictures from it. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him.
Wow, that's
Um, and he looks totally different. Naturally they're going to update things and change it
yeah,
around. But Simon and Cad were in it, and Underdog was in it, and there were some other new characters. I don't even know what they were, but I'd like to get a copy of it just to see what it looked like.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, a lot
but
of people always told me my Plunger Pup character looked like Underdog, but I think I never saw it. But I'm like,
yeah,
there's only a few ways you can draw a dog, and
uh-huh,
you know, especially when you're influenced by shows like Looney Tunes and Jay
yeah,
Ward, Total Television, all those things. There,
hmm,
it's things are going to look alike, So
yeah,
I always took it as a compliment. I just never saw the design being the same.
yeah. But
But yeah. Wow. So what was I going to ask you? I know we jumped into the thing about the show. I was going to save that for a little later. But you do a lot of shows. You travel around and
Too many.
are there just if people can't make it to this upcoming show, that's I know it's New York Comic Con weekend, but you guys, let me
Uh-huh.
tell you, the I always forget the name of the place, the Great Philadelphia Convention Center is a lot smaller than the Javits Center. So if you don't
Uh-huh.
want to do as much walking, or you're tired of walking the Javits, you need to come to this show. It's really it's going to be a really good time. There's a lot of great artists, a lot of stuff with gaming, um, but and I just lost my train of thought with that. But yeah, I was trying to do a pitch there. No, but what other shows like are you going to be if they can't come to Pennsylvania this weekend? Where else?
There's a convention in Jersey, DerpyCon. I'm going to be there Halloween weekend on Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm.
And then Twin Tiers up in Horsehead, New York.
And that's in
Um,
November.
that's in November, November 15th. That's one of my favorite ones. Uh, and they're good people there who run the show. And it's a variety of different things. They have some actors and lots of comic artists. It's a variety of, comics, toys, and everything else. So, but it's more of a, how would I say, more of a family friendly show. So that's the best way to put it.
Those are the kinds I like.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. Um, wow. Well, I hope to get up there one day and, and
Yeah.
check it.
I'm working
So
on it.
I know, thank you. I appreciate it. you know, I'm trying to start to do shows again. So those who haven't been following me as much, maybe you're new to me. I haven't done shows in years, really, less than a handful since the pandemic,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to do shows again. So I'm looking around for really good, fun shows. If anybody out there knows specifically family friendly shows, my work is always geared towards family friendly stuff. That focuses more on comics and you
Hmm.
know and fun. That just let me know about those shows out there, and
Yeah.
I'm
I
happy
think
to come. Sorry.
Undiscovered Realm where we go to. I love that show too.
Oh, that's a
So
fantastic show, and
yeah.
that's excuse me. I consider that like right in my backyard. It's about a half-hour drive for me, but
Hmm.
it's kind of like it's my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a half hour for me too. So it's
Yeah,
like great.
yeah, I love that show, and Chris is a good guy, so he puts
Yeah,
on
he
uh,
is.
he puts on a
Yeah.
great show.
Hmm.
But yeah, um, and there's just so many things out there like the shows. But so let's uh let's move on. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Uh-oh.
Um, I'm not blindsiding you. Was it maybe a year or two ago? What were we at? Was it 90s Con?
Yeah.
And we did a panel and we talked about the cartoons that inspired us, and we talked about just a few
Uh-huh.
things with cartoons. And I was just wondering. I know we talked about who inspires you, and you mentioned, like I mean, I think when we talk to comic artists or just artists, cartoonists, whatever you want to call us, we usually have similar influences. So like for me, I love like if I want to talk superheroes, it's specific artists. If I want to talk comedy, it's specific artists. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
there's certain things I look at, and your stuff tends to be more in the realm of the comedic, silly type of cartoons. I mean, I know you did work on some Batman the animated series comics, correct?
Yeah, I did one. I did a couple like 4 pages from a children's book.
Okay,
And again, it was for the international market, but this was like 2003. Yeah, it was 2003.
all right,
And it was just a couple pages, but not, I wouldn't say that I'm a Batman artist.
okay. All
So,
right. Let me
but I
turn.
love that style. And then
Yes, go
when I
ahead.
draw superheroes, I do that in that similar style.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
one of the artists, comic artists I love is Darwin Cook. So,
You know,
you
I
know.
was just talking to my wife about Darwin the other day. She doesn't know
Hmm.
who most of these people are.
Yeah.
She's learning as I talk, but I was explaining how Darwin's thought process on comics. You know, he had that interview. I don't know how when he did it before he passed away, but
Uh-huh.
he talked about how comics should be geared more towards like the kids and be it family friendly. That a parent should be able to sit down and read a comic with a kid, you know, with their kid and stuff, and like
Yeah.
the direction of how. And I've always been like he was someone that like I always followed and felt like, you know, me and him are on the same thought process of what comics are.
Hmm.
And I was just always thinking about like, because I always think of weird things like if he was still alive, what would he be doing right now? You
God
know,
knows what.
like I always
So
think he would be his own. He would have his own company by now. I think he would have probably went into business
probably.
for himself.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
and
it's it's funny. I'll give you a Darwin. Okay. I geeked out on Darwin Cook when I met him. I met him once and I geeked out. Now, I met Barbara Eden, when we're doing IJG. Didn't geek out on her. I geeked out on Darwin Cook. So but I mean, that's how much I loved
yeah,
his artwork. He was like
but that
incredible.
I did the same
Yeah.
thing with Sergio Aragonés. He's my all-time favorite
Yeah.
cartoon, Sergio, and
Uh-huh.
I've met him so many times, and every time I tried to play it cool. And then there was this one time I met him, and I have the goofiest face in the photo.
Uh-huh. That's
Like
it.
I bought I have an original Gru piece, Gru and the Minstrels up there, and I got a signed Gru hat, and I have all this stuff signed by him, original artwork. I don't want to say all this stuff,
Yeah.
about three, maybe four things tops. And I'm holding up the photo and just like, you know, like I was so excited that, and I've met him so many times, but he's the only artist I can honestly say I ever geeked out
Yeah.
meeting.
So
You know, it's a but yeah, no, Darwin is like that. Like he was one of those I never got to meet that I always wanted to, and
yeah.
he he was just, you know, I don't like to use the word talent because art is a skill, you have to learn it. But man, that guy had talent, he had skill, he just had knowledge, and you don't find many people like
Yeah.
that. You know?
Yeah, and as far as other superhero, Kurt Swan, naturally, Garcia Lopez, um,
Yeah.
Dick Giordano. He was one of my teachers. So,
Oh,
yeah. And then let me see who else. Yeah, naturally Kirby.
mm,
So,
yeah.
but
I got to
yeah.
study under Tom Gill and
Hmm. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
yeah, and Dick Rockwell. Those were my
Yeah.
two, like, you know, if you want to call them real cartooning
Hmm.
instructors. Those two are mine. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, that was yeah, that's amazing. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so we were talking. So we were talking just about the influences and like, oh, if you had superheroes, if you had comedy, you know, you mentioned Bob Clampett, Chuck Jones, all those
Hmm.
great people. Um, are there anything like, I want to know anything specific that you feel when you look at your work that you say, oh, I'm borrowing from this artist here, like that's something commonplace in your drawing?
Hmm. My natural style leans more towards if it's hmm the best way to put it, my natural style leans towards what Archie Madhouse looks like.
Okay.
Remember the old comics and
Yeah.
that style.
Yeah.
So, which is Dan DeCarlo, Harry Lucy. So I'd say my natural style would lean more towards Archie. So, and a little, sometimes I see when I'm doing like a goofy superhero, sometimes I see a little Will Eisner, just like on the face.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, I'd say that would be it. And then if I do the animated style, I have to go more towards what they want.
Yeah, yeah,
So, you have to do, style from Mr. Magoo is totally different from what Bugs Bunny is, or, what the Animaniacs are, or Tom and Jerry.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Tom and Jerry, I don't go towards Chuck Jones. I'd say more towards the original MGM look.
Well, the Chuck Jones, I got to be honest, wasn't the best work of Tom and Jerry in my
No,
opinion.
he even admitted it.
Yeah, no,
He.
I know. I'm just saying it's not a style I would copy. I wouldn't copy the
Mhm.
Filmation style either. I wouldn't
Oh,
copy.
Jerry with the bow tie.
Yeah, it's just like with Mighty Mouse, you don't want to go Filmation with Mighty Mouse either. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I
but
love
that
the Backstreet Mighty Mouse. I think that's great.
I love. I have the DVD of that. I literally watch that at least once a year.
Uh-huh.
Play it while I'm in the studio working, and I think it's some of
Yeah.
the best stuff. You know, it was very very creative, very what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it was very out there. I think it helped me define some of my humor before shows like the Animaniacs came around.
Yeah.
Because I've always said to people, and I think I've said that the Animaniacs are my Looney Tunes. Like I grew up loving Bugs Bunny, all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't until like Animaniacs came out what year? Like 91, 92, something like that.
I think it was 90, 92. Yeah.
And so
God.
it's funny. I was 16 years old in 92. I was getting ready to I wanted to go to school for animation. Like these were the type of things that were starting to influence me. But I actually knew all the references they were making, whether it was an actor or politics or whatever, unlike having to kind of learn the history of what was going on in the era sometimes for a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
Uh, so like I consider them my Looney Tune characters. And
Mm-hmm. Well, when Animaniacs, when we were brought in, we saw the original first episode with no sound,
okay,
and Pinky and the Brain was sort of like in a pencil test. And we looked at it and said, "This is going to be a hit." There was no doubt about it.
yeah,
So, and it did change. It did change the format a lot for a lot of shows.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I have to agree. I think that whole era of from basically like Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Freakazoid, like those whole
huh.
Spielberg produced cartoons really
Yeah.
really changed a lot. And then obviously Batman the Animated Series changed how superheroes could be done
Hmm.
on
Yeah.
television. But yeah, and
I
and
mean, the
sad.
mid '80s.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oops. The mid '80s and the early '80s, it was like either they were like, "Oh, it's all sweet and sweet and lovable," or it's pushing a toy, one or the other.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I think Tiny Toons changed things. I think that was the one that changed everything, and then
So
it
that
went into Animaniacs.
yeah, that was mid to late '80s, I think, right?
That
Like
was the
80,
late '80s. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, like 87, 88, I think. That was a
yeah.
yeah. I enjoy it. But you know what? I will say this. Even though I love the cartoon, it's one of those cartoons that a lot of it is hard for me to watch now. The,
Hmm.
the Tiny Toons, but the Animaniacs, I can always go back. I think there
Oh
was
yeah,
the level of writing on that was just like I think with Tiny Toons, they still they really targeted kids. When it got to Animaniacs, they're like, no, we're just targeting everybody. This is for they really went back to
uh-huh,
what cartoons were, and they were written by like comedy writers. Like it wasn't like cartoon writers. They're written by comedy writers. Just like when you look at the old Hanna-Barbera, the old Looney Tunes, they didn't really have cartoon writers. They had cartoonists. They had
yeah,
people who knew how to write comedy. I think that's why when you see those shows, they shine so well, and they still, they're still great to watch today, and they
yeah,
as
definitely.
classics. Um, but yeah, so trying to of and I'm not asking you to rate cartoons of today, but do you find any cartoons of today have like an impact that like do you see have you seen any, checked any out?
Well, how would I say it? I think there's a lot out there, and I really don't have a favorite of the newer stuff. So,
The last
um,
the last show I can think of is Gravity Falls that I think had some
mhm.
kind of impact. That's it.
I did see that new Looney Tunes movie with Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. I
And
thought that was great.
I haven't watched
So,
it yet. I plan
oh,
to see
a
that.
lot of people ripped it apart, but I was like, no, this is perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh, that's good. That's good to know because
yeah,
I like well, Daffy's always been one of my favorites. So
yeah. I got I have my own personal issues with 3D animation. So, I think there's a lot. I think you could do both,
yeah,
but I think they do too much 3D. So,
I will agree. I've actually worked in 3D, not 3D
mhm.
animation, but I've modeled in 3D
Yeah.
many years ago. We're going. I probably stopped in 2000 2001, like
Mhm.
around that time. Um, I hated it. I hated every minute of 3D. I I'm I'm like in '94 when Toy Story came out, I was impressed by Toy Story. I'm like, wow, this is really cool with what they could do.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that feel that I like to see in my cartoons.
Mhm.
I like, you know, well, I mean, I like the silliness. I like the squash and stretch. I like to
Yeah.
be able to see that stuff that can't really happen well in 3D,
Mhm. Yeah.
And but yeah, no, I once I was allowed to stop working in 3D, I just said, yeah, that's fine. I'm done. And I taught it until probably 2006. So I stayed with it and it was fun to teach.
Yeah.
It wasn't, same thing like graphic design. I spent 7 years working as a professional graphic designer. I hated it. I could do it. I'm good at it. I hate it, but teaching it was fun. I enjoyed just passing it along and being like, here's what you need to know. You go out and do what you have to do, but don't make me do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that type of stuff. But yeah, so and I think the only reason I got into 3D is because I love puppetry and I got into puppetry for a while. So it was like I could sculpt, you know what I mean? Like sculpt what I was doing in clay on what's it called? You know, with meshes and polygons and whatever the hell we were using back then. I don't even know if they use the same stuff now. But so as someone who has vast influences, vast background in cartooning and work, is there a project that you haven't worked on that you want? Like that if you had a dream project right now, what would it be?
Well, I said the Misfit Toys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, you said Rudolph, but yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Rudolph. The one project,
Mhm.
everyone's gonna laugh. Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse.
I don't think that's something
It's
to
a
laugh at.
They don't want to do it. It's impossible.
Oh, I think
I
that
tracked it down. I literally tracked it down. They don't want to do it.
I mean, listen, I'll admit it wasn't my favorite cartoon growing up.
Oh,
Um,
it's one of mine
yeah,
growing up.
but I enjoyed it, and if
Uh-huh.
there was a comic or a new animation or something, I'd give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh,
Yeah.
but it's not but it's not the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
and but I think that would be great. I think there is a fan base for it. I'd love to see that.
I
I think
know.
you do a great job on it. You have you have a good knack at or a good ability to copy styles.
Yeah.
Which can be difficult. And I and let me ask you, when you're learning to draw in these styles, are you studying like the model sheets from the shows, or how do you learn a new style?
Yeah, the model sheets and just reference, more than anything. So, you know, um, I don't know. Sometimes it just, in some ways it just comes to me just based on the style. So,
Yeah.
and then I don't know if you do this, but it's sort of like acting when you're drawing a character, you're sort of thinking the way the character is. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
When I
like,
get to know a character, I feel I'm like that.
yeah, Like if I'm at a convention, I'm sitting there drawing a bugs for somebody, I'm talking like bugs. I'm just,
Yeah,
my thought process. So it's
yeah,
like Yosemite Sam. I can't start like that. But yeah, that's what that's sort of how, it comes to me. So,
yeah. It's yeah, because I for me it's always been model suit. That's how I learned. Um,
hmm
one of the things, like I don't know if I ever told you, I learned how to draw by recording TV shows like cartoons, pausing them on the screen and
yeah,
drawing what I saw on. So my style is very animated. Everyone tells me it looks like your stuff, even when I'm trying to draw like comic book style and
yeah,
or an anime, or I want to say a manga style. Everybody's like, yeah, you draw anime really well, but I'm like, considering it more
yeah,
manga because it's not moving, but
yeah.
animation is my.
Well, where I learned also was, and maybe this is why my natural style is more like, Archie Madhouse or Archie style, because my dad used to work for Famous Artist Schools,
Mhm.
not Draw Lucky. It was the one with on the back of the comic books. It was Norman Rockwell. It was Al Dorn. That's the
Yeah, yeah.
company he worked for.
Okay.
And actually, he photographed that picture of Norman Rockwell.
Really?
And yeah, and he brought. What happened was he was like the lead photographer there, and he brought home the cartooning course. So in the cartooning course, it's Milton Caniff, you know, um, Albert, not Albert Dorn, Milton Caniff, Harry Haggison, Penny. I don't know if you're familiar with that comic strip.
I may have seen the
Um,
advert, but it sounds familiar.
yeah, Al Cap, Little Abner. It was all those, and they had courses. They created courses how to do cartooning, and a lot of the cartooning courses, they take a lot from that series. It was like 23 chapters in 3 books,
Wow.
and they're big spiral bound books.
Wow. Do you
So,
still have any of them?
oh yeah, I have them all.
Oh, that must be
So,
just like fun to go back and reminisce and go through.
hmm yeah, I have the Illustrator course. Yeah, I have the drawing course. I have like the one from the 50s with Norman Rockwell. Uh, and then I saw Milton Caniff at the Museum of Cartoon Art when I was a kid, and I brought the course to him and I had him sign his section. So I
That's
have it signed by him.
that's
But
awesome.
yeah, those are like gems for me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I used to collect like instruct cartoon instruction man, like old ones, not just like any book
hmm
that's out on the market, but I had
yeah,
for a while, I lost it somewhere in like my moves. I had the original textbook from the School of Visual Arts
okay,
before it was called the School of Visual Arts, and it was,
really.
yeah, I used to have that.
It
I
was
lost.
Art Institute, wasn't it?
I don't remember
I
if I
think it
had
was
the
Art
book.
Institute.
I'd go get it. But I remember I spoke with Tom Gill about it. That's how I found out. He wrote a couple of chapters for it,
Okay.
and Tom was telling me, and he was like, "You should look at it." I went on eBay and I found a copy of it, and I got to look at that. I have the only ones I still have that I know where they are. I have the old Cartoonorama cartooning course where it was like the different slides. And there was that other course, and I think it was the one that you were talking about, the other one that you were talking, like the draw lucky, like can you draw this turtle, this pirate, this whatever.
Yeah,
And I did that course for a little bit, but I didn't like it as a child because I didn't
yeah.
like not having a teacher next to me,
Uh-huh.
like like sending your stuff away, waiting for feedback. I mean, I was in middle school when I was doing it, and it was I just didn't. And then later, I did my whole what is it? My my bachelor's at an independent study school, so I learned everything on my own. But it
Yeah.
was
Well, the famous art schools, they ended in the early 70s.
mhm.
But I'm surprised Lucky was that long, huh? I thought that went out too. So,
Yeah, it was the one. Is it
mhm.
the character's name was Lucky? It was like a
Yeah,
turtle.
draw Lucky or draw the turtle or
Yeah,
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, draw the pirate.
Yeah.
So
The reason I think that, I don't know if that was the reason it stayed in business, but Charles Schultz was one of the employees there. He was one of the, I get, not when I was there, but like when it
yeah.
started, he was either took the courses there, I forget, or if he,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think he took the courses there. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and they had a whole, I remember it came with like an 11 by 17 book about the life of Charles Schultz and his time and whatever. And it was a pretty cool piece that I still have somewhere.
Yeah. Charles Schultz story. My friend, our friend Tim Jones.
Mhm.
Okay. Tim and I are like doing conventions, and it's like one characters we can't draw, and I've tried it. Peanuts. He
Yeah.
can't do it either. It's like mine
It's,
comes out too animated. It's like
well, even who was it that animated it? Bill Mendez, right? He even
yeah,
said that was one of the hardest things he ever had to do.
yeah,
Trying to copy that style. I I will spend literally an entire day on one Peanuts character, and if I don't draw them regularly, then I lose it, and I have to spend another day capturing
yeah.
this. I was like, this is bothering me so much. I ordered from the Charles Schultz Museum the How to Draw Peanuts book. I was like, it was a little cheap book. I have it on one of my other shelves over on the other side of the room, but it's a little cheap book, and one of those little, maybe 20 pages or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would sit and study that. And I mean, I bought this like, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago, whatever it was. And that's literally what I would spend time doing for like 2, 3 weeks straight in
Hmm.
all my free time. To this day, I'm still terrible.
No, I will have
It's,
to sit there this weekend and try to draw them.
I'll go with it.
You'll
Yeah,
put them on the podcast next week.
put them on the, I'll be more than happy to. Yes. Yes. Maybe we'll do some live drawing at the show.
Yeah, that's it. We'll try to do that. So,
Yeah, that'll
but
be that'll be fun.
mhm,
Um, Now, before I normally go within another 15 minutes to a half hour on the show.
mhm.
At the beginning of the show, or not beginning of the show, but before we went on, you mentioned um, a project that you are working on. Can we talk about that or no?
Yeah, it's by okay. The character is called Cosmo Cat. I did a backup story in it, and it's by Cosmo Cat Comics. And they have the first issue out right now. It's a 48-page book, and the artwork and the stories are incredible. If you look at the website, it tells who the artists are, and okay, you got that page. Okay,
Yeah, I'm just looking at it here. Wow, this
yeah,
site is just a little okay.
yeah. The first issue just came out, and you can get that. You can order that first issue. I did a little 3-page backup in it. So for the second issue, I'll be doing another 4-page backup.
Now, with the
Yeah.
backup, do you write them or does someone give you the script and you just
No, Robert Conti wrote the stories. So same guy I worked with on Mr. Magoo. So, but
And I got to tell you guys, whoever created this website, I love the sound of the page flipping.
oh
Uh,
really? Okay.
yeah, there's a sound of the page flipping right here.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
No, I can't hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, now Cosmo Cat, is that a new character? Is that public domain? How does?
Their version of Cosmo Cat, it's not connected to the original Cosmo Cat. So it's
Okay.
a totally different storyline. But maybe the other Cosmo Cat might appear. Who knows? That'd be interesting if they did it. So
Yeah, that's cool. I love the design too.
I think the designs are incredible. I think it's great.
Yeah. I like it. It's like if a cat was a member of the X-Men, I feel. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
that's just cool stuff.
It's more, I'd say like the Guardians of the Galaxy, if anything.
Yeah, well, definitely
Yeah.
probably in theme and humor maybe, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I look at his costume right here, and this guy to me just screams like, and I know I'm reading into it a lot, but like he screams Bishop to me. You know, he's got the
Yeah.
like, red
Oh,
neckerchief
I
type,
never noticed that.
and you know, the blue and yellow. That's
Mm-hmm. That's the main character, yeah.
well, I'm gonna have to read this and check this. I love this. Oh, this guy looks great here with the eye patch.
Yep.
I love when they give animals eye patches. You know, Danger Mouse. Uh, you know, you look at who was it? There was another one I'm blanking on just from a cartoon. It was just such a tough guy. You know.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm getting probably a text right now.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
let's see. David says my dog's name is Cosmo. She's not gonna like her name being associated with cats, but good luck to you.
Oh, false alarm.
Okay,
So I thought it was someone texting me about Cosmo Cat. So
not a
nope,
problem.
false
Go ahead.
alarm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the books I'm working on. And then the other one is called um what is it? It's based on a short video by Carl Palolino. And I know I said it wrong, Carl. Uh and it was called The Halloween Prankster. And basically it's this guy go around, he's a kid, goes around and creates pranks. And we're going to be doing a book based on that video. And then further on we'll probably do more books called the adventures of the prankster. I'll got that here.
You sent me the website, I think, right?
Yeah, I sent you the website, but here's the whoops.
Oh, oh, nice.
That's what it looks like. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a glare, but I can see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Carl does some of the shows with us, and we have the video available.
Well, I'm going to just share the website real quick.
Okay.
Um, you know, Carl was at the Yonkers Comic Con with me. We
Mhm.
tabled next to each other. We hung out, had a good time. We were both on the same panel, so he got his water bottle as well. Um, Now, because of the way this is, and I don't want to show any of the videos right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here into the comments so everybody can go check this out. What can't post messages to some channels? Let's see where it goes to. Hopefully, it's there. I don't know which channels it went to. Let's take the Cosmo Cat and see what happens with that. So I don't know where it's going to go to, you guys. It's saying I can't post to some channels. I think it's an issue with Facebook, to be honest. So if you're watching on Facebook, um, go to CosmoCat comics.com. And then the other one is this is on comicbookkidpub.com.
Mhm.
So
And Carl also has another book called Spontanea.
yeah, it was
So
just
take a look at that too.
yeah, right there. Which we're gonna have Carl on. I got to just schedule a date with him here, and we will talk about everything here.
Okay.
You know, I'm looking forward to having him on. He's a very interesting guy to chat with. Has a lot of great knowledge, in his head. There, been doing this for a long time, and you know when we did the panel, I got to say I learned a lot. I did.
Yeah.
I learned a lot
He's
about.
very knowledgeable. He did the puppets for Celebrity Deathmatch. And how many did he say? He did around 400 puppets, he said.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah.
So, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch it in the 90s, but I've just been recently watching them. they beat the daylights out of those puppets.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like,
I
oh my
remember
God.
I remember watching that when it originally aired. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my era. What was that? MTV,
Uh-huh.
I think, was on or something.
Yep.
And I didn't watch MTV. I was never like a video person. I never liked watching music videos. But once they started doing that type of stuff,
Yeah.
I was, MTV became a channel I enjoyed. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah. So,
but
but
but yeah, I think we should probably wrap up for tonight because I know you and I could talk about a lot of stuff here, go on for hours, but you and I should save some stuff to chat about this weekend. And,
okay.
and then, we'll have to have you come back on and discuss some other things or just BS about comics because I'm sure you and I could pull episodes of like Looney Tunes that we love and, dissect
Oh
them
yeah.
and
All the rarer cartoons too. Talk about those. So
so many great stuff. Well, just as a reminder to everybody who is not going to New York Comic Con or not going Saturday and Sunday, because the show that we're going to be at is only Saturday and Sunday. It's called GameCon Live. You go to gameconlive.com to find out about everything. Everybody, our panel, or actually our workshop schedule will be up and on there. And yeah, come see us. We got some really cool stuff for sale. And we're gonna have a lot of fun this weekend.
mm-hmm.
All right.
And I'll be walking around New York Comic Con tomorrow and then leaving as soon as I can. So.
I understand. Listen, I'm 30 minutes from the Javits Center, and I have no interest in ever going back into that building. It's and I don't want to say that about I'm not trying to knock cons, but
No.
I need room to like just breathe. That show is
Yeah.
so crowded
Yeah.
that if you don't know if it's your sweat on you or the person next to you. It's just
Oh,
like
God.
gross.
I don't even want to think that way. So.
But listen, I got a lot of friends at that show at New York Comic Con, so that are either tabling or going to be walking around. And I
Uh-huh.
wish I could remember everybody, but the one I will say in my head to go check out is Dennis Knight. He's a good friend of mine. He is an editor. He is a writer. He is probably one of the best editors I know, and
Uh-huh.
he's doing reviews.
Where is he in Artist Alley or is he
Give me 1 second. I can look it up on my face. Let me go on Facebook. I know he posted recently. I think he's going to be at someone else's table. He wrote someone's book. And the book, I have the first 2 issues, is really good. Hold on, that's him advertising another friend of his. Of course, he has to hide it now all the way down on his page. But yeah, I'll look it up. Oh, that's appearing all 4 days. Yeah, he's no, that's another friend of ours. He does a lot of sharing. I wish I shared as much as he did about our friends. I really do want to support, but I just never go on Facebook, like and do
Yeah.
all for that long. Um, Man, he really pushed himself deep down here on his page. Um, is this it? No, that's Damien. Wow. Might have been quicker to go on my page. I know I shared it a while back, but I don't know. I'll have to find it and let you guys know. But um, he is a very talented writer and editor. He was one of the editors when I was the art director at Pronto Comics, and me and him worked together. And I don't think they're you know if you're working in the indie world, I don't think there's a better editor than him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because he's my friend. I've worked with quite a few editors. He's one of the best that I've ever worked with. He just gets everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been scrolling down here. I can't find it. He needs to
Yeah,
advertise
it's fine.
himself again. Oh, Plan 79 from outer space. So, whoever that is, Kevzi International, is that it? Small press booth 2236 is going to be where where they're at. Okay,
Got it.
2236, I believe, is what they're saying here.
Mhm.
So Plan 79. That was I read the first two issues. They're great. So, but yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry to sidetrack that. Let's wrap
No
up.
problem.
I know you probably need to get up early to head down to the city. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
but anyway, you guys, thank you all for tuning in. I got another great guest coming on next week. I'll let you guys know who that is as soon as I look at who it is. I don't remember who I scheduled. I'm sorry. I listen. I'm scheduled all throughout. But we're in October. All throughout October, and I got the first couple of weeks of November booked. I just don't remember who's on what day right now. So just watch out for the ad. I'm going to try to live stream early next week. I'm not going to be able to do it this weekend, like live stream drawing. I'm not going to be able to do that this weekend, being away at the show. But come and see us and watch us draw and teach kids and be part of the workshops and have a lot of fun and buy stuff.
And do trivia.
Yes,
So
that was my last one, trivia, which I'll come up with questions. We still need to figure out how many questions we're asking because
yeah.
I need to figure out what to write. But again, Rich, thank you for taking time out of your.
No, it's fun. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Come on, anytime you're welcome back. Hang out just a little bit afterwards after we go off line here. But again, yes, thank you, everybody. If you're going to New York Comic Con or another con, enjoy yourself. New York Comic Con, bring extra deodorant, spray people around you carefully when they don't need to. Uh, and okay, don't do that. I don't want people getting hurt and you blaming me for that. But just know protection, you know, at New York Comic Con. It's hot in there, but you might need a raincoat. I don't know. It's
Yeah. San Diego's crazy too.
I've never been out to San Diego, but I know I know.
Last time I was there was 2006, I believe. Yeah, I think it was 2006. And I've heard it's worse now than ever.
I'm not into that. That honestly, that's one of the reasons I stopped doing shows. Once
and
again,
it takes. See, I like to, I'm not set up at New York Comic Con, but normally I like to set up at it like the larger cons because I can hide behind my table, so it's not that bad. But
no, I agree. I like to do that too, but it's
yeah,
it's just hard, and I
yeah,
don't
like San Diego, takes like 45 minutes to walk down one aisle, just to walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
They might stop and looking, but so.
I can't imagine.
But it's part of what we do. So.
Listen, we love it. It's I've always said if I wanted to to do something that wasn't creative, I'd gone into banking or something. Have a little more stable life. But this is fun. This is what I love. There's no choice in the matter of what I do. It's what I was put here for, and what I'm programmed inside to do is create comics. So
yeah, this is it. So.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again for coming on. Thanks everybody for watching. We will be again away at the show this weekend, but come follow us on social media. Come have a lot of fun. I'll post Rich's social media to your Instagram. Fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll post that after the show. So,
okay.
All right, guys.